Sorry, who's against?
Already does.
There once was a chicken who spent her life on a quiet farm, until one day there was an accident at a nearby nuclear testing facility, and it changed her life forever. In the aftermath of the explosion, scientists discovered that the chicken's eggs had been instilled with incredible powers, and the eggs were taken back to the city for examination. Meanwhile, the chicken had new powers too. Angered by the loss of her eggs, she set out to retrieve them and take revenge on anyone or anything that might stand in her way.
All right, Nicholas, thank you very much for being our guest. I'm going to pull out some predictions here. We have Team 21's predictions. 1, the guests will destroy the house directly in front of them at the start of the game. You're definitely destroying houses. I wasn't keeping track of I think everything got destroyed.
Yeah.
So it's probably fair to say that the one in front of the guest got destroyed.
Yes.
All right. Number 2, the guests will destroy the 18-wheeler truck.
What was that truck? Took me a while to find a truck to destroy.
Do you recall seeing a truck and destroying it?
Eventually, somebody told me to destroy the truck.
Okay. So there's a truck and it got destroyed. All right, sounds fair. And number 3, the guests will destroy the Trump Tower because it is the largest object in the game. Do you recall destroying Trump Tower?
That was fairly obvious to destroy.
Okay, so you saw that and destroyed it. All right, that sounds great. So a few quick questions. Can you describe who you were and what you were doing in this world?
I was a giant chicken, and I was attempting to knock down buildings with my wings.
Was there anything else you were trying to do?
I was trying to collect eggs.
Okay. How did you collect the eggs?
You just touch it with your wing, and then you grow larger afterwards.
Okay. How many eggs did you collect?
3?
3? Team? All right. And then the question, on a scale of 1 to 10, a feeling of freedom, 1 being low freedom, 10 being really high freedom, how would you describe your freedom in this world?
It was like a 9.
9? I was actually thinking yes. In fact, at the point we were watching and you were wandering, like the world said, feel free to wander through these walls in the real space. Like the space that the world was encouraging you to walk around was a little bit bigger than perhaps the outline down here. But yeah, it looked like freedom was really good. So anyway, thank you very much for being a guest. All right, you guys had a pretty simple story and simple world, and just from the setup of like giant nuclear chicken, get your eggs back. And in interim, things were working pretty well. Like destroying buildings was very satisfying, and like the connection between the story and what the world was mostly there. There's some questions about finding the eggs through destroying, and then navigation were sort of like the 2 big things to be worried about. And here, the destroying was working really well. It looked like one of the things that was a little frustrating was the finding of the egg was kind of like there's a lot of freedom in that. And from what we were looking at, it looked like the egg was possibly in the last building to be destroyed. Is that?
That was intentional.
Oh, it was intentional. Okay. So talk a little bit about that then.
So we wanted. Does this work? Yeah. So we wanted them to destroy, have the chance to destroy as much as they could. So in each, not at the beginning, because there are 3 times you find the egg. So the first time it should be fairly immediate. The second time, I think we gave them a lot of time to play in the world. The truck was pretty hard to find. And then the third time, the hope is that you at least get to destroy some helicopters before going to the farthest point, which is the tower. Okay, so, and I'm watching it, one of the things that you did to connect the dots and solve the navigation problem a little bit is when you collect an egg, you grow and scale up. And actually, I thought that was kind of a brilliant way to play with navigation, because all of a sudden you made it so that the space you're in is basically the same relative to you, but because you're big, that relative nature means that there's now new stuff to destroy. And it was, like, watching it, it looked like it worked pretty well. And like, it was a big question, just like seeing this stuff, like, it was a little nerve-wracking, I'll be honest, from the external perspective of, like, hey, there's a building and it's over here, let me go try to destroy it. So the fact that the world said there's more stuff beyond the boundaries was dangerous, like almost literally, given the space of the world. And like that was something that watching it's like, why can't I go beyond that? Now your world, like when you grow, you sort of say, well, it's kind of important because you kind of want that continuous space. But definitely the growing was a great way to solve navigation, I think, in a way that the world supported, and there's none of this weird teleporting stuff. It was like a bit of a, like,
clearly signaling to the guest what their boundaries are for this given stage was a little muddy and was definitely putting some of the equipment in danger, given that. But like I said, I think great mechanic for navigation and making that work. The ending was a little abrupt. Was that we found the last egg and then boom, like we're done?
There was a story panel, but then he wasn't facing it, so we didn't work that out completely.
But yeah, that was something we should have fine-tuned probably. Yeah.
Well, and my guess is time was an element that was playing into that. But at the very least, like nice job of getting both the story and using the eggs as a mechanic to sort of explain this other thing that had, build to the end. It's a little bit still weird because the motivation of the story is we're trying to save these eggs, and now the world's a little bit like, oh, we consume the eggs as power-ups and become large. And it's like this world is a little bit, I think especially the ending is like, oh, we're the size of the moon or something like that. Like there's a little bit of like we become a super giant chicken. So the world is like, the story at the beginning isn't quite the ending we get. But still, I think good use of a good clever way to solve the navigation problem and good way to get those things connected together. There's definitely some appear to be some frustration just in finding the eggs. I think were the trees, those egg-shaped trees, was that like an intentional art choice? Watching it, I was like, there's 3 eggs right there. It's like, oh no, I don't think those are eggs. Those are trees. But overall, I think you guys kept it mostly simple, and a lot of that was working pretty well for you.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah. All right, cool. Good work, guys.